We were all cherry-cheeked anime fans at some point. Sadly, that time usually ends with a bang. It's time for bad anime shows to get what they finally deserve. No matter how many episodes or how bad it is, I'll prevail and beat them all. It's time for Undroppable. Well, it's Halloween time, and since I accidentally blew my bad horror load on Pupa, I slightly got stuck for something to do. So after some small searching and racking my brain, I remembered this one I watched a few years back that hurt my brain watching. So we head into the very artsy horror-filled world that is Le Portrait de Petit Cossette. This is not super gore horror we're dealing with. This is the more psychological one. You know, the better one that can actually be scary. And we're also going for the artsy angle, so you better get that symbolism boner rocking away. So Le Portrait de Petit Cossette, or The Portrait of Little Cosette if we no longer want to be French, is a 3-episode OVA that aired during 2004, produced by Aniplex and animated by Studio Daima. Before we go any further, we need to discuss the director of this series, who is Akiyuki Shinbo, a very visual type director that likes to reuse various visual keys, such as characters tilting their heads way back, very empty open spaces, still images spliced in between shots, and very quick shot changes, which he has used to a fair amount in his most recent works such as the Monogatari series, Nisekoi, Makaku City Actors, and Sasumi-san, which while he does use them a lot, it is his style that he has come to after years of directing. As with the way he has directed Cosette, you can see the start of this style that he would later become infamous for. The story of Little Cosette follows Airi, a worker at an antique shop, who finds a picture of a girl drawn by an artist called Marcello Alando, who is an Italian artist for an aristocratic family, drawing many pictures of the family's daughter, Cosette. But then we learn later, after drawing Cosette and immortalising her beauty forever, he gets displeased that she is still growing. You know, since she's like a human and whatnot. So to keep her forever the way she should be, he kills her, as well as the rest of the family in his obsession for her. This story follows the idea that all items have a soul, and so after witnessing Cosette's death, all the objects in the room harbour a deep hatred for Marcello, with this hatred becoming a curse tying Cosette's soul to a Venetian glass that she now comes to haunt. So she starts to appear before Airi, who, like Marcello, is a very talented young artist that starts to get interested romantically in Cosette. So after watching her live out her life through the glass, he starts to fall in love with her and her beauty. Knowing this, Cosette asks him to free her and the objects by entering a pact of blood with her, where he who has inherited the soul of Marcello must take on all the suffering the objects wish to put him through. By doing this, his soul becomes tainted with all the sin that Marcello committed, changing him into a monster and leaving a scar upon his chest. But he suffers it all as he wants to not only free Cosette, but remain by her side due to his growing obsession for her. This is a romance story with no happy moments, as we see how the obsession drives Airi to withdraw from interactions with the other women in his life, as well as his male friends, and does show a very extreme kind of love, with not just the whole lolly loving aspect to it, but also how love can be twisted to this level of complete obsession bordering on madness. The music is amazing in this, and I really liked it, with no tracks not fitting the mood or the atmosphere of the scenes. That coupled with the visual design makes for a very nice looking and sounding piece, but sadly it is only 3 episodes long due to it being an OVA series, which does hinder it as it does have to condense the time in show to get through the story. I would have loved to see this as a full series, where you could build up Airi's descent into madness by Cosette a lot slower, as they already show at the start how he is fine by having him go for a medical checkup. So seeing him go through all these tortures for Cosette and how thin and worn out he gets is a nice touch. I'd just have liked a slower pace so this impact is a lot harder, along with giving you more time to try and work out if Cosette is wanting him to succeed, or if she just wants a punching bag for her anger at Marcello. But with all that praise, I do wish they would have toned down the imagery, as there is only so much I can take, especially in a short time, as sometimes it makes trying to follow a scene very difficult with all the random stuff happening. Like when he first becomes a monster, as leading up to that we see people dead, then a glasses cabinet filled with blood, and then the spirits of the objects inside that start to attack Airi, with the scene ending with the house on fire and him leaping to kill Cosette before the next weird scene starts. This is a show you really have to sit down and watch, and not something you can be half asleep for, as if you miss something, they aren't going to repeat it, so you have to rewind it or you will be lost. But as a show about being driven by obsession by love, with focus on descending into madness, is pretty good. Just very artsy. So be sure if you want to watch this, then you need to watch out for all the art everywhere. But as a horror show, even with the psychological bent to it, while very interesting, doesn't really make me scared for Airi or what I might see next, which is very disappointing. Well, maybe this Halloween I too, like Airi, can get haunted by a lolly that seems to spend most of her time in nothing but a cape and a candle holder. It would be better than having Jason Voorhees trying to murder my white ass. And with that, me and Cossette will see you in the next Uncosettable.